5 years living and exploring Australia. But it wasn't enough to see everything. And my visa ran out. I had to leave. But one big thing was still undone. I never made it to Uluru. So we had to come back on a tourist visa for 90 days to travel the south, the west, the north, and all the way to the center. Can we make it? Was it even worth it? After 3 months in New Zealand, honestly one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, it was time to head back to Australia, to finally take off Uluru, and to hunt down some of the most incredible wildlife on the planet. How many can we find? But this time it's different. Last time I arrived here, I was moving in. This time I'm a visitor on a tourist visa. And it feels weird, like coming home, but knowing you have to leave. If I'm being honest, this feels like a goodbye trip. One last chapter before life takes us somewhere completely new. But more on that later.
Missed the train for 1 minute. It's here when we came the stairs down. Now we have to wait 30 minutes. Hey, love it.
First things first, we need the car. My mate in Brisbane has been looking after it.
It's hot. Doesn't look like it, but it's hot. And look at this. I missed you, my friend.
So day one is basically land, sort the gear, get ready. Because the next morning we're driving all the way to Adelaide, about 2,000 kilometers, with a couple of friend stops along the way. Let's go! Leaving Brisbane, it's green, lush, but it doesn't take long before the landscape opens up. Dry fields, wide open country. One of the best things about traveling a lot, you got friends everywhere. And I love that. Even if it's just a quick dinner or a morning coffee. Those moments are always worth the stop. First night Maury, one of our mates lives here. So we pulled in for dinner and some games. Exactly what you need after a day on the road.
Finally in my tent again. Oh, I love it.
Then Narrabri. Quick brekkie with another friend and straight back at it. The drive was long, really long. But the two of us handled it well. One night we stayed at a truck stop. Sounded fine in theory until the trucks started coming in. So loud we actually had to move mid-sleep, tent still open. Classic. 3 days of driving later, the outskirts of Adelaide. Beautiful free camp right on the river. Quiet, still, everything the truck stop wasn't. Adelaide. And this is where it really starts.
We made it to Adelaide! Woohoo! Now we can start traveling a bit.
First stop, the Botanical Gardens. If you followed our New Zealand trip, you know we have a thing for botanical gardens. And then this guy decided to put on a show. Adelaide also meant catching up with Liam, one of our mates.
The worst
Game
setup we ever had, I think.
The city didn't disappoint either. But we weren't staying in the city long. We heard there were yellow-footed rock wallabies out in the Flinders Ranges, and we had to go find them. So, in the next morning, we left. Dolphin Sanctuary first. Laura spotted a snake. Honestly, she was more excited about that. Then our first dolphin. Not a bad start. Alligator Gorge next. The colors in there are something else. Red rock, blue sky. It's a harsh place though, but the wildlife doesn't seem to care. Lizards everywhere you look. Then a death adder shows up. Laura was absolutely thrilled, obviously. 2 snakes in one day, only in Australia. And the root just hanging around like it owned the gorge. From the gorge we pushed further north into the Flinders Ranges. The rocks here contain some of the oldest fossils of complex life on Earth. Over 550 million years. Before fish, before dinosaurs. Before basically everything. First mission, find the yellow-footed rock wallabies. We'd come specifically for them. And lucky enough, within just a few minutes, there they were. Honestly, didn't expect it to happen that fast. Aruna hut, built in the 1920s by a shepherd, later used as a base by Hans Hazen, one of Australia's most famous landscape painters. Now, just walls and silence. The name Aruna, it's an Aboriginal word for running water, place of frogs. Then movement, another room, and an emu just wandering through. One of those days where Australia just keeps giving, but we pushed on, found our own place for the night and set up just in time. Next morning, we did a little hike while it was still cool. Smart. Then the heat hit and the plan changed fast. We ended up at their information center, just sitting it out, waiting for the temperature to drop. Bulpenna Pound, a massive natural basin, 8,000 hectares of mountains forming a ring. The local Aboriginal people call it cupped hands. Makes sense from up here. Little waterholes line the trail the whole way. Beautiful on its own. But do it at sunset and wildlife just shows up. Wallabies, roos everywhere. Actually everywhere. One last stop in the ranges. Goats ramming each other's heads on the side of the trail. The smell hit before we even stopped. Rock paintings from the local Aboriginal people. Ancient, just sitting here on the rocks. It's a short walk to the caves. Anyone can do it. Easy to walk past, hard to forget. We pushed on towards the coast. Found a spot right on the water. Beautiful place. Absolutely brutal wind. But that sunset made it worth every gust. Nothing better than waking up at the ocean. Nothing. And if you're going to wake up by the ocean, you go in. Cold water, no swimsuit. Best way to start the day. One thing you notice pretty quickly in regional Australia? Crane silo murals. They are everywhere. Every small town seems to have one. Most of them are stunning. Port Lincoln next, another great camp, and somehow even worse wind than the night before.
Amazing! Look at this.
We start the day on the Investigator Trail. Straight to the beach and later great views. Then walked out to the lighthouse. And on the way back, stumbled on something unexpected. Old farming gear just sitting there in the open. Classic steel wheel blows rusting away like whoever left them just never came back. No fence, no explanation, just there. By the time we made it back, the sun was nearly gone. And yeah, Still had to find a camp.
That means finally we have to get a new tent.
Morning walk at Yangi and afterwards breakfast right at the bay. Then back on the road, and the locals weren't exactly in a hurry. We stopped at some rock formations that genuinely make no sense. These are Murphy's haystacks, ancient granite boulders, just sitting in a farmer's paddock. 1,500 million years old. Didn't plan to stop, couldn't drive past. That night we found a nice spot in the dunes.
Yum.
Heading into Ceduna for a pit stop. Shower, laundry, food, water. The glamorous side of road tripping.
It's shower time in Ceduna in the petrol station. Would you look at those showers? Probably the best ones I've seen.
Ooh.
Is it already full?
No.
Right, bush camp for tonight. Good morning. Thing I really don't like while bush camping. Don't have a toilet. Yes, a shovel and toilet paper and you go to the bush. We're ready.
We'd seen the photos, and I've been there a few years ago. Pink salt lake, supposed to be stunning. Reality, almost completely dry. More white than pink. Still worth the stop. Just manage your expectations. Then the last stretch of South Australia.
Western Australia, we're coming!
The sign says 1,700 kilometers to Perth. We pulled into the Nullarbor Roadhouse. Later found a spot for the night. Watched the sun go down one more time in Southern Australia.
And tomorrow we cross to WA. The border is just like 10 minutes this way.
South Australia. We were only here for a few days, but honestly, not bad at all. Tomorrow we cross into Western Australia. And ahead of us, nothing. Just road for a very, very long time.